so delicious. So it is Tuesday, January 21st, and I'm trying something new with my vlogs because I feel like with my reading vlogs, I tend to try to do two things at once, and I don't do either of them that well because I want to do a reading vlog of a specific book, but also it's a spoiler-free vlog, so I can't really do that. But I'm also trying to do my challenges and other things as well. But I also want to do a weekly vlog where I share what I'm reading and how I read and things like that throughout the week. So I've decided to split it off into just my weekly vlogs, which I will post once per week, every week, regardless of whether I finish a book or not. And then I'll also do content-based vlogs. So I just posted a couple that are tagged as spoiler reviews for Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. So those would be more of the style that I would be doing for my content-based vlogs. And then I also have another one coming up soon, which is my Read It or On Haul vlog. I don't know if that's coming out before or after this one, but it's gonna be kind of around that same vein. The Read It On Haul though would be a non-spoiler based vlog, obviously. But obviously if I'm doing single book vlogs, it's gonna be including spoilers. And the reason for this is while I really like my vlogs, I don't particularly think that many people are here for the vlogs. They're more here for the actual book related content. So I want to be able to still do what I want to do, but have information actually put out what people want to watch. Also, I think the spoiler vlogs are actually quite fun to do. I just can't do that in one of these types of vlogs because if you're not coming to the video specifically looking for those spoilers, I don't want to give you those spoilers. For this week, I have quite a bit that's going on. First of all, like I said, I am going to be filming that Read It or On Haul vlog that's coming soon. I'm in the middle of Miss Peregrin's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom. This is one of my Read It or On Haul books. This was supposed to be my middle grade book, but it's YA. It definitely is more YA than middle grade, but it was on my middle grade shelf. I'm around 60% of the way into it. I was enjoying it a lot at the beginning, but the direction it's going, I'm not loving it that much. It reminds me a lot of The House of Cerulean Sea. It has that same kind of, it's not the same vibe, kind of the same structure almost, where it's a bunch of oddballs in this house because it's a bunch of peculiar children, but they all have powers. And I like some of the magic in it and things like that. And I think the author writes characters really well, and I like that about it. I just feel I'm definitely not the target audience for this. And even though I'm enjoying it, it's just not the type of book that I gravitate towards anymore. As of right now, I think I will continue on with it, especially since I have the audiobook and I do want to see what happens. But I don't know yet if I'll be continuing on with the series or not. And then I did start The Empire's Ghost. So this is one of my adult fantasy pickups for this season for my Read It or On Haul. So far, I've only read the prologue, but I enjoyed the prologue so much. It had a bunch of characters, which I know some people don't like getting thrown into a bunch of characters right away, but I personally love it. And I felt all the characters were quite distinctive. Each of the different scenes in that prologue, there was 3 different settings in the prologue, if that makes sense. Each of them had a very distinctive feel and atmosphere. So I'm quite excited to see what this book has to bring because it definitely is foreshadowing a lot of politics, and I love politics in books, so I'm super excited for this. Other than those, Onyx Storm does come out today. I have not gotten it yet, but I do expect to get it. I ordered it. It should be arriving today. We'll see if it actually shows up or not. But if I get it today before I leave, I do have to travel today. I have to drive 3 hours later today, and it is pouring outside, so I honestly don't know if I want to be on the road today. But if I get it today, then we'll be able to read that this week. If not, then it's going to be in next week's vlog, in which case I have started Gardens of the Moon by Stephen Erikson. This is a reread. I did want to do all of my rereads kind of not at the same time. So as I was rereading Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, I didn't want to stack it up with my Malazan rereads as well. So I have started this, but I didn't even finish the prologue. Was it the prologue or chapter 1 that I read the prologue and I got into chapter 1, but chapter 1 in this first book is super long. I had actually picked up the ebook for this because it's a crime-free ebook. And as I was reading, it said I had an hour and 23 minutes left in chapter 1, and I was just that's such a long time. And it was right before I went to bed. I was I don't have an hour, so I just kind of put it down and started something else instead. But I am excited to continue on with this. My ebook that I have right now is still A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. I'm enjoying it so much. I'm about 20% of the way into it, and we're at a part that I'm super into the actual whodunit plot and all of that. So I'm really excited to see where that goes. I do plan to read that one slowly just because it is kind of a slower paced book, and I just feel I'm gonna enjoy it more if I read it slowly. So that's my plan for now. And then last but not least, we have Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. This one I decided to let myself read the audiobook for. I don't have any other audiobooks planned as of right now for this week. So once I finish finish Miss Peregrin's Home, Kill Your Children, I'll be moving on to the audiobook for Rhythm of War. I made a decent chunk of it already, but I haven't made any progress since the last time we've talked. The reason why I decided to switch to the audiobook for this one is just I haven't had the urge to pick this up, and I feel like I should have the urge to pick it up if I'm prioritizing it as a physical book, whereas I have had the urge to pick up like Gardens of the Moon and The Empire's Ghost and all of those, but I still want to read this. So it has a very decent audiobook and I'm enjoying it so far, so that's why I decided to pick up the audiobook for this one. I do feel like the beginning has been somewhat repetitive already, particularly Kaladin's storyline has been bothering me. Some unpopular opinion, but I personally don't like Kaladin very much. I actually don't like Kaladin or Shallan very much. I like Adolin and I like Yasna and I like Dalinar, so they make up for it for me. And I think it's kind of hard to read a book that's this big where there are two of the main characters that are very prominent in the series are characters that I don't particularly like. I like what's happening with Shallan, but Shallan as a character I don't particularly like, if that makes sense. I'm enjoying this, but like I said, I think this is more of an audiobook read for me rather than a physical book because I have a lot of other physical books that I'm prioritizing right now. So Onyx Storm did arrive on time for me to get it before traveling today, so I will definitely be reading it this week and I'm pretty excited about this. I liked my reread of both Fourth Wing and Iron Flame way more than I was expecting to, so that makes me quite excited to go into Onyx Storm. I just spent about 3 hours driving, just checked into my hotel, and I had planned to read another one of my Read It or on Haul books during the drive for my audiobook, but the one that I had planned to do, I was just not in the mood for it at all. I wanted something quick and fast. Like I was not feeling my best self, let's put it that way, and I just wanted something quick and fast and easy, and I had just gotten this guy, so I decided to pick up the audiobook for Onyx Storm on my drive, and I listened to the first 10 hours of the audiobook. Not the first 10 hours, that's a long time to listen. I listened to the first 10 chapters of the audiobook, so I'm right about there now. A lot has happened already. These books just pack so much in to each chapter, like so much plot, let's put it that way. It does miss out on some like world building and character building moments that I would love for it to have, but it just packs so much plot into even just one chapter. I like had to slow down the audiobook so that I wouldn't get too far into it because I don't want to read this too fast, but I would be very surprised if I don't finish this by the end of the week. Now the reason I needed to do a new audiobook was because I did finish Miss Peregrin's Home for Peculiar Children. It was fine. I enjoyed it. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna unhaul it or not. I gave it 3.5 stars. The ending was good, but I don't think it was like outstanding or anything. So it is Thursday, January 23rd, and y'all might not remember this, but I'm most definitely a mood reader, and I have to remind myself that hotel couches are just not comfortable to sit on, and I don't like reading hardcovers in bed. So that being said, I did not make any progress on either Onyx Storm or The Empire's Ghost. Even though I really want to, I just don't have a comfortable place to like curl up and read. Usually when I'm traveling, I'll go to like a park or a beach or something, but it's so cold that I cannot do it. So the only place I have is like a hotel room, because you can't like go to a library and read. I mean, you can go to a library and read, like you definitely can, but it's weird to bring your own book to a library, if that makes sense. It feels weird to go to a coffee shop. Like I can go to a coffee shop and like use my computer and like work and stuff, but like I could also work in the room, and apparently this hotel has really good Wi-Fi, because normally it takes like an hour or two or even more to upload a video, and I uploaded a video yesterday and it was a pretty long one in like 30 minutes. It was great. But anyways, I was kind of in the mood for something cozy, so I went through my audiobooks that I had, and I had Before We Forget Kindness in my audiobooks, and it's due in like a few days, so I decided to pick it up yesterday and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I'm actually almost done with it. This is a sequel to Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which is a story about this cafe in which people can travel back in time, but there are like certain rules to the time travel. It's basically like a series of like short stories where you follow different characters and why they want to go back in time, and it gets very emotional, but it's very much, for me, it's more of like a cozy read. I do think there are a lot of like deep topics that it brings up, like grief and things like that, because a lot of times when people want to go to the past is to see their loved ones who are dead in the present. So I am really enjoying it. I don't think it's any better or worse than the last ones that I've read. I think the last one that I read, the one with the pink cover, I don't remember the name of it, was probably the best one in my opinion. But this one I still really, really like, and I'll probably give it around 4 stars. I'm trying to decide what to pick up after it because honestly, I'm still not in the mood for anything like too super fast paced, and I kind of just want to go home so that I can curl up on my own couch and read either Onyx Storm or The Empire's Ghost, because I want to read both of them, and I just don't have anywhere comfortable to do it right now, and it's really annoying me. So it is Friday the 24th, and I'm in so much better mood today than I have been. I think what it is the sunlight. Do you see the sunlight? I don't know if you can see it, but it's so much brighter today than it has been because it's been overcast all week. And even though it's just as cold, like, no, it's not just as cold. It's 50 degrees, which is better than it has been. It's still cold for Florida because 50 degrees, like, I'm in South Florida right now too, and it's 50 degrees. Like, I'm going back to Central Florida today, and it's gonna be colder than it is here. But, like, what brought out my mood so much is the sunlight. The sunlight is so beautiful, and I can walk outside when in 50 degree weather if the sun is out. But if it's overcast and rainy, it's just so miserable. I am enjoying the weather right now. So half the video clip I just did not go through because apparently Apple CarPlay does not like me filming while it's connected to Apple CarPlay, so it keeps cutting out. So hopefully this goes through this time. But I have 3 audiobooks that I'm in right now: Nexus, Contact, and then of course Rhythm of War, which was my plan to read Rhythm of War on this 3-hour drive. But then I also have Onyx Storm, which I'm kind of in the mood for Onyx Storm. I know I wanted to read it physically, but I have a 3-hour drive, and like I just feel like it would be a good one for that drive. So I don't know which one I'm gonna pick up, but I'm gonna pick up one of them, and I'm really excited for it. I honestly don't remember anything else that I said, so I'll fill you in later when I edit this video. Please disregard the shelves. I'm in the middle of filming my book haul, so it's a little bit of a mess, but it is Saturday, January 25th, and I did start a few audiobooks. The first one was Contact by Carl Sagan. Enjoying this so far. This is one of my Reader on Haul books, so more on this in my Reader on Haul vlog. And I also started Nexus by Yuval Noah Harari. I'm about 50% of the way into it, and I'm enjoying it so much. I did not realize how much I was interested in information and how information is like disseminated. I'm actually quite interested in it. Actually, a lot of what drives how I read books can be broken down by like how information is disseminated through the book. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Those are just some of the themes that I like have to do with information and how people get information and things like that. I'm enjoying this so much. Like, this is one of the most interesting nonfiction books that I've read. I'm only about halfway through it now, and it gets very political. Like, it really does. I definitely cannot wait to see what the second half of this book has to bring, because I might like it more than his other book, like, honestly. And I gave 5 stars to, I think, 2 of the 3 of his other books. So yeah, it's really good so far. And I want to say, I'm just so happy to be home again. I finally did get to make some progress on The Empire's Ghost by Isabelle Steiger. I read like the first 3 chapters or so last night. It is a little bit slower than I was expecting it to be. They actually introduced more characters, like even more than were introduced in the prologue, but it's okay. I'm enjoying what I have read so far, and I'm excited to continue on. Like I said, I think this could potentially be a new favorite of mine. So it's Tuesday, January 28th, and I decided to stop by the library because I was close to one of my local libraries, particularly the one that I went to as a kid. So I ended up picking up a few books. Okay, that's too low. Let's make this higher. So I ended up picking up a few books. A little too many books, to be honest. But you know what? You guys always knew that I was a mood reader, so I just had a few books that I just felt like I was in the mood to read. So I might be able to get to these in February. My library does allow us to check it out for 3 weeks at a time, so I do have time, and I could potentially even end up renewing these if no one's like waiting for them. But I did get the other books in the Ember and the Ashes series because they were available, and I plan to pick up an Ember and the Ashes very soon. I end up loving it. I can definitely see myself binge reading the series, so that's why I decided to get these, because I'm not sure if it's going to be a series that I actually want to buy, but I do know it's a series that I want to read physically. So when I saw these available, I thought it's perfect. Then I also picked up A Spear Cuts Through Water by Simone Jimenez. I actually don't know anything about this novel. This was definitely just like a whim for me to pick up, but I decided to get it because I've been seeing it a lot recently of like recommendations of new fantasy. I feel like this could be something I could potentially really love. I also picked up Gleanings by Neil Schusterman. This series, the Arc of Scythe series, is one that I absolutely love, but I don't know if I want to buy the short story collection. But this is a series that I did read physically, so I kind of want to read it physically, so that's why I decided to get this one as well. Short story collections are hit or miss for me, so if I'm not liking it, I'll I'll probably DNF it pretty quickly, but if I am liking it, then I'm glad to have it. I also picked up The Justice of Kings by Richard Swanson. So this one I do have a hold on the library book or the audiobook as well, but because it's like a high fantasy or adult fantasy, it is just the type of book that I would prefer to read physically instead of on the audiobook. But I don't know anything about this author or about this book. I've heard people recommending it, and it seems like it's to the people, like the type of book that I would like, because it's like fantasy kind of horror, which I do really love. So I feel like I could potentially really love this, but I don't know anything about it. So I didn't want to just go and buy the book. That's why I decided to get it from the library. And last but not least, well, kind of least, because it'll be the last one I pick up if I do end up finishing all of these, which I doubt, because that's a lot. In case I do, I did also get Murtagh by Christopher Paolini. This is another series that I absolutely loved when I was a kid. It was a series that I definitely read physically, but I kind of grown out of this series, and I don't think I'm gonna want to buy the physical book. But if I do end up reading it, I'll want to read the physical book. So that's why I decided to get the library book for it. We'll see if I end up picking this one up now though, or if I have to like renew it. But really enjoy the series and excited to see this particular story because his storyline in the original series was quite interesting in my opinion. Other than that, I did finish Nexus by Yuval Noah Harari. I did really enjoy it. I think it has a lot of great information in it, but I found it incredibly pessimistic and like realizes that it's quite pessimistic. Like it talks about how it's kind of like an argument against AI because the AI companies are incredibly optimistic about AI. So like it's self-aware about that, but I tend to be more on the optimistic side of things. I didn't love that. And then the other side of it, it was a little bit repetitive at times. But other than that, it was incredibly interesting. So I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. But that's all I have for you. If you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. I post videos at least once a week. I've been posting a ton of bonus videos, so consider subscribing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.